And now let's introduce Jana, who is from Spain, and she'll be talking about her own experience, how she had to educate her teachers throughout her schooling to really advocate for access to education. So please welcome Jana.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you very much for attending today to this event despite the time differences. I know some of you are really making an effort to keep your eyes open now, so thank you. And yeah, well, in first place, I'm gonna introduce myself a little bit, even Bowen has already done that. But yeah, I'm Jana. It's next slide. Next slide. Okay, I am Jana. I'm 22 years old. And I live in Valencia, Spain, even I'm from a small village called Bocairent. And well, this year I graduated from college, so now I'm a professional graphic designer and illustrator. And well, you can see that the project that I recently made. And anyway, I became deaf when I was 9 years old, and we really don't know why at all. But yeah, since I started losing hearing, doctors and my family decided that the cochlear implant was the best option for me. So I had the first one when I was 11 and the second one at the age of 13. Next slide. Perfect, please. Thank you. Okay, even first school years and also first high school years were quite easy and went good and normal. With the second cochlear implant, I started to notice some difficulties because it wasn't as easy as the first one for me to adapt. So yeah, besides I started, more or less my grades were good and I was making a big effort to keep it that way. And so people wouldn't notice that I have these difficulties, that I was like kind of lagging behind, and I had to make this extra effort to keep the grades good and to know what was going on in class and understand all what the teacher was saying. So I was like kind of tired of that, and I decided I have to speak out, do something and speak out. So yeah, in the next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, I had this idea of giving like 2 talks to teachers and my classmates to speak a little bit about the cochlear implant and which issues I was having and how we could solve it. And yeah, I talked to the counselor and my tutor, and we decided to give these talks during like free time, so everybody could join. And yeah, I was very nervous at first, but everybody was very interested in listening to me since they didn't really knew about all this cochlear implant world. And after all, I learned that people likes to know how they can help you, but sometimes are afraid of asking in case you're uncomfortable with that or you don't want to talk about it, or they like kind of afraid, they don't know how to react. So yeah, talking about it make it like more natural for everyone to speak about it. And well, I talk how I felt, how I heard, what the cochlear implant is, or how to treat people with cochlear implant. And most important, I addressed the main problems that were making me lagging behind, like such as background noise or confusing phrases or lack of vocalization and so on. So as a result, next slide. Thank you. Okay, people will congratulate me, and they were really, really happy to know about what was happening, and the response was very good. And on top of that, teachers were more involved creating solutions for me, like during lessons. For example, they were aware of classroom noise, so they knew how to act consequently. And also they changed my table to another position so I could hear both the teachers and my classmates during the corrections or exercise that were that involved the class participation, such as debates or these things, among other things. So yeah, I can make the invisible visible, because nobody, like if my hair is like this, they don't see the cochlear implant, they don't know that I can have this issue, right? So yeah, and as an extra, this was kind of a surprise for me, because the counselor had this idea of celebrating the International Cochlear Implant Day. And it was like, I consider it like a success. And every time I have the opportunity, I like to talk about it, because it's like a beautiful memory. And you know, when in that day, there was like the 25th of February, we read the manifesto of the cochlear implant that was written by the Association of the Cochlear Implant here in Spain. And we threw balloons as a reference to Vicente's Marzal artwork. He's a cochlear implant painter that always expresses how he hears and his art pieces. But yeah, it was not only for this time, I wasn't only raising awareness in my classroom, it was also for all the high school. And in conclusion, in the next slide, thank you. Yes, I was really scared at first because I was getting like a lot of attention, and it made me nervous and kind of wonder if I was doing okay or if I should do it at all. But you know, I thought we have to celebrate differences, and if we don't take this step, nobody will do it for us. And that's so I encourage all of you, if you feel apart sometimes, not on purpose, but maybe because you have like a disability or you're deaf in this case, to speak with your friends or colleagues or whoever you spend more time with about how you feel or which are your needs, because it will make you feel better, and also them, because they will know how to act with someone with this difficulty. So you're not only making yourself a favor, you're also making a favor to other cochlear implant users behind you, because you know, if they are afraid to talk about it, maybe people will already know about how to address it, because they will already had like this kind of talk with someone. But yeah, I noticed like such a difference between not talking about the problem, let's say, and talking about it, because it was like everything was like good after all. And of course, I was lucky that I had such amazing teachers and tutors and friends. But sometimes you only have to try to realize that you're that lucky. And yeah, that with that being said, thank you very much to everyone. It's next slide. Owen. Thank you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed hearing about my experience, and I hope it made you think. And also, I would like to thank you to Sue, Bowen, and guys for making this possible and counting me in, and all the work with the organization. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jana, thanks for that. A really insightful talk, and it really gets across the point that a lot of the things that can be done are really very simple at one level. They're about standing up there and talking to people, but a lot of comments in the chat room about actually how challenging and difficult that can be, especially at first. And I think you brought that across. Do you have any kind of key tips for other young people in terms of what would give them the confidence to do that? Because it obviously works.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I would say that like, I don't have like the keys, but I would say like maybe start speaking with someone you trust, or like maybe your closer friends, or some teacher you know more, or anything. And little by little, I think like spreading the voice, you can raise awareness too. It's like you don't really need to have all the high school there, but maybe little by little you can also make a difference.
Brilliant, thank you. Bowen, back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jana. You're an embodiment of courage, because it takes a lot of bravery to go through that process of being able to speak up for yourself in an environment that can be intimidating. And as I hear your presentation, also thinking back about Mary Chris' talk, is that it really takes a community where, you know, as you mentioned, to start with something small where you practice talking about what your needs are with someone that you trust. And you take that one small step to build up a habit of talking about your hearing loss and making it into a positive attribute to educate other people around you. And eventually it created a ripple effect that is spread throughout your entire school community. And you've shown us the result of just taking that proactive approach. So thank you, Jana.